Hickok 45 here, Mr. Buck and Ball today. You might be wondering what the heck is Buck and Ball. Well, if you don't know, you're going to find out today, because I'm going to shoot some through my Harper's Ferry 1842 Musket smoothbore. All right, all I have to do is put a little fire on it. One of these nipples, or excuse me, a cap, okay, on the nipple, and it will fire. I have Buck and Ball loaded, yes. 3.31 caliber pieces of buckshot and in one 69 caliber ball, if you've never seen that done, these folks. And I'm gonna put that on there. All right, I'm gonna try to hit that paper. Now let's see what happens. About 3 different pieces of lead, and you might wonder, wow, that's not much of a group, or that's kind of random. Well, yeah, it is random. Buck and Ball. It's back, it comes from the old smoothbore days, of course. Flintlocks. George Washington, in fact, was a proponent of the Buck and Ball. And, you know, with the Continental Army and everything. And then, you know, during the Civil War even, the Irish Brigade, you might have read about them. They made great use of Buck and Ball in their 1842s, just like, in fact, this one could have been there. Could have been used at Gettysburg, this very rifle. But they held off Pickett's charge with Buck and Ball primarily. So it was very popular among soldiers. As the rifled muskets became more and more prevalent, and everybody was issued one and that kind of thing, there were still some people wanting to hang on to their smoothbores and their Buck and Ball, and I think the warfare took on more distance shots and that kind of thing, and so it eventually won over, and the Buck and Ball went kind of by the wayside after the Civil War, even during the Civil War, I guess. But very, very effective at moderate ranges, okay? Because in that kind of warfare, you've seen the movies, you've read about it. You know how they just come marching up and everybody's together? It's basically random chance whether you died or not that day, right? It wasn't because you were not as quick on your feet or you didn't have as good a cover. You're just marching, you know, towards the enemy fire. And so it just ran. So whoever could throw the most lead or steel at the advancing forces, you know, would probably win the day. And if you've got a whole horde of people coming at you, you just need to throw a bunch of lead at them. Accuracy plays a role, but just a lot of lead going that direction is kind of the key, and that's what you got. You might hit with this, you got 4 different pieces of lead, right? You might hit 2 or 3 people. You know, you might not end their lives, but you might take them out of the fight, you know, ruin their day, okay? So anyway, that's what kind of Buck and Ball is. I showed you in an earlier video with this thing, and we shot some, in fact. You got a 69 caliber ball, and you got 3 little 31 caliber balls. That's what you got in there. They're either on the bottom or they're on top of the big ball. All right, and I talked about that in a video. I've read about it, and I'd seen some conflicting reports and approaches to it, and it just seems so absurd to me to have the buckshot, again, get the terminology right, this is buckshot, and this is the ball, okay, Buck and Ball, but to have the buckshot on top as you load it just seemed absurd to me. I think I mentioned that in the video because I had seen where somebody was doing that, shooting it that way. And I thought, how in the world would you take advantage of the buckshot with the ball coming out behind that? It just, you know, I was a PhD in physics, right, at MIT, Stanford, Vanderbilt. It just seemed to make sense to me, based on my advanced degrees, that, you know, the ball against that would just spread it like crazy, and you would, you know, it'd go into the moon, right? And so even though I saw a couple of different approaches to it, when I was loading it, I put the buckshot behind the ball, and I thought, well, that'll keep it together as it comes out. You know, it just made sense to me because it's going to spread either way, right? Well, I don't know. I have since read that you know, if you have a lot of experience with this, let me know what you think or have discovered, because I'm in the process of discovering things. I'll talk a little bit more about that. That if you want more accuracy with the ball, let's see, how is it? Yeah, if you want more accuracy with the ball, but more spread but you're going to get more spread. If you put this on top, you're going to get more accuracy with the ball. I mean, say it that way, okay? Like I've been shooting it primarily. You're going to get more accuracy with the ball. But the buckshot is going to spread a lot more. That, yeah, when it's, you know, beneath the ball like I've been shooting it. I said, well, okay. And I read that if you put the buckshot on top of the ball, it stays together better. Okay, so I've been trying that a little bit, so we'll see. Fortunately, I'm not going to battle with it, so I don't have to know for sure which it is. But I did make a little bit of a discovery. You'll see down here on the I'm going to shoot this barrel first, but I've got some targets set up close together down there. And, you know, it just makes sense if you're experimenting with buck and ball. I've seen some people do this kind of thing, Duelist 1954 and a couple of other people, because that's what buck and ball is for when the enemy soldiers are kind of grouped together. It wouldn't make as much sense if you're trying to pick somebody off out there 100 yards by himself. You know, you want an accurate rifle, an accurate bullet, and all that sort of thing mainly. But I shot some cardboard. I put a piece of cardboard over there, and I was shooting it the way I normally do, and I was not getting any hits. I mean, none with the buckshot. None with the buckshot behind the ball. Okay, and then I did a couple of those. The ball was accurate. It was going right where I was trying to hit, the 69 caliber ball. And that's again with the ball on top, big ball on top. And so I thought, well, let me try it with the big ball on the bottom. So I did that, and then I actually got some hits. This is the piece of cardboard, just for your education here. And there's really no extra charge for this. So it really is in keeping with what I read. These were the two hits from the ball, you know, with the buckshot behind it. And there were no buckshot hits anywhere on the cardboard. Okay, and it was even bigger piece of cardboard. There were no hits though. So I turned the buck and ball around, and I shot one with the buckshot ahead of the ball. The ball hit here. It didn't seem to go as much where I wanted it to go. It wasn't centered as much. Could have been me, but so the ball hit here less accurately, apparently, which is in keeping with what I read. And guess what? All three hits from the buckshot were on the cardboard. So if you folks who have experience with these, then shoot these and do some buck and ball, maybe you understand that. It made sense then. So it looks like at distance, that's about 50 yards. Maybe we'll have a different experience today, but I mean, that was today, this morning, but we'll see. So with the buckshot leading it, it seemed to stay together better. Exactly the opposite of what, to me, is just intuitive. So it's counterintuitive to me, but I guess maybe if I think more about it, it'll make sense if I study physics better, all right? So let's load one up. I think I hit that with a patch, didn't I? And of course, I told you, I think in that first video, this rifle would get some cartridges, which I did, and put some powder in. These are, where did I get these from? Yeah, Jefferson Arsenal. I bought these, ordered these, and they come with the lead, the buckshot and the ball and everything. They're really neatly tied up and everything. All you do is put the powder in and fold them, okay? So I put the powder in, but all the lead and buckshot's there. I don't have the patience to make those really, so I went ahead and spent the money on those. And again, just to show you what's in there, that's why I've got these lying out here. All right, so in battle, of course, that's what you need. You can't go through all this stuff like you saw me in the first video, and I'll link to that one, by putting wads and and all that kind of thing. You're in battle. You're being shot at. So you got these in a pouch. You see me do that in the past in a video or two, and you just bite off or tear off the paper. Okay, pour the powder in, pre-measured, of course. Now I'm just shooting about 75 grains here of powder. Now they actually use like 100, 110, and these things really, they kick. Okay, so since I'm gonna shoot that first barrel closer, I'm gonna go ahead and load this again like I've been doing it with the buckshot behind it, on this first one, okay? Just to, again, trying to learn today, make this a learning experience for all of us. So the buckshot is following the ball here. So let's cap it and shoot this barrel we're not going to shoot 100 times. I may just shoot 4 times after this because I want to shoot down there at those barrels, but I want to shoot this barrel at this distance and see what we get. So supposedly our buckshot does not stay together as well the way I just loaded it. And I see the pig swinging. Well, that ball makes a big hole, doesn't it? So now somebody, that's a 223 hole. That's what it is. Here's a buckshot. Looks like it might have hit there. Looks like, yeah, a couple, maybe one up there. I don't know. Okay, so that was pretty close. And kind of what I'm coming to the conclusion of is that it doesn't matter maybe where you put the buckshot, either behind the ball or in front of the ball, if you're talking, like 20 yards, up close. And that makes sense. It's not going to matter a lot. But I tell you, out at 50 yards, it apparently makes a big difference. Okay, at least in these loads and in this gun, this musket. All right, so now let's go across the hill. I thought I'd take one shot at each one of these guys and just see what happens. All right. All right, now across the hill, I'm going to, because you can put them in either way, they're already tied up there. I'm going to put the buckshot out front. Now, if we don't get any hits with buckshot over there, I don't know what to think. But I did get some this morning. You saw it on the cardboard. All right. All right. So we got some soldiers over there, and they're kind of lined up coming at us. That's the crazy way they used to fight, right? And my main thing is on the elevation. I think the windage on this thing is perfect. I just want to make sure I get them on the target if possible. All right. I'm going to kind of center it as much as possible on the target on the right, the barrel. Okay, I heard something hit the steel, and I had to hold a little bit high. Let's put one on each one. Now you can already see probably where they're going because of John's great camera work. I'm going to put one on each one, and let's see, yeah, here we go. Now, I'm not taking a lot of time here, so I should have left that down. So I will, again, as I pointed out, if you're going to be shooting rapid fire, probably is better to leave the cap on there, leave the hammer down, all that kind of thing. I typically don't do that. I'll take my time here, make sure it's all burned out. Okay, more powder. Make sure I don't get over the muzzle. All right, so I'm putting the buckshot on the top, so the ball's going to be on the bottom. Okay. Yeah, Pickett's charge was decimated by the Irish Brigade on the Union side with exactly these rifles and this load, buck and ball, because with every shot, you're possibly disabling 3 or 4 men, or none. It's a little random. All right, the next barrel. All right, they're still advancing. Whoop, there I did. I took that off again. Sorry about that. Okay, they're advancing. So I'll let it cool and burn out. What they were trying to achieve, and it makes sense, right, is you got with the ball, you got a rifle, well, it's not really a rifle ball, but you got a big, heavy ball. You have some accuracy out to 50 or 100 yards that you can kind of direct pretty well. So with buck and ball, they wanted to kind of have all the benefits of, at least at moderate ranges, a rifle and a shotgun. It's kind of what you're combining, right? Because we know how devastating a shotgun can be, double-aught buck, that kind of thing. Buckshot is just scary. So it's kind of what you got here. You got a big chunk of lead going down range and then 3 smaller chunks, in the same vicinity, put it that way. Same general direction. Very little control over exactly what you're going to hit maybe, but But again, they're all piled in together, and yeah, you're just sort of shooting in amongst them kind of deal, right? It's like I got 35 2-liters laid out on the range, you know. I don't have to take too careful aim. All right, the ball on the bottom. Again, that still just seems counterintuitive to me, but I haven't really had to use the ball starter much. It's getting a little dirty, I guess. And again, we're not going for precise shots here too much. It is a smoothbore, right? And even you new shooters probably realize what that is. The bore is just like a pipe. There's no rifling. So you're not getting bullet spin or anything like that, which is what gives you accuracy. All right, next barrel. Okay, one more and we'll check her out. Yep, there I go, doing that again. Again, while it's burning out, although I've never had a problem with that in 50 years, but still, force of habit. The 1842 is the model. I'll link to the first video. This is a Harper's Ferry. Not as many were made at the Harper's Ferry, so this one is really quite kind of collectible. It's kind of special, in addition to being an early model and made in 1846. So again, if you're new and you didn't see the first video, you've not really seen many muzzle loading videos, you're just watching this one because I'm in the video and you love me, right? Not really. No, this firearm, lots of times, maybe I'm not clear sometimes whenever replica, or we have an old Colt. I saw a comment on a Colt single action. Someone said couldn't believe it had lasted that long. Well, it's the third generation. You know, when I call a Colt single action model like 1873 or something, that's the model, but you know, they're still making it, you know, so I try to be clear on that. This is a model 1842, but this exact gun, this firearm, was made in 1846. So it's very old as well. So I just wanted to impress upon you that, because that's kind of makes a difference, because it's so neat that a firearm can be this old and still usable. I mean, I just find that fascinating. Don't you? You should. All right, now that last one is a little stiff to load. I'm gonna just a smidgen of ballast off so it's easier to load. It's kind of a perfect, imperfect science, but occasionally I like to run a damp patch down there, get the worst of that out without getting enough oil that you know, it gets my powder wet going down or anything. And you can do that if you're careful. I still don't have the right size ramrod tip. I think this is a 58. Planning to hit the Friendship, Indiana, and get a 69 caliber tip in a couple of weeks like that. You may not see this. I may already be back with it by the time you see this video. You never know when we're going to post these things. So my plan is to be at Friendship in September. All right, that should be good. Let's load it though. Okay. Yeah, I got 2 boxes of those. There were 10 in a box, and loaded them up, and I won't shoot that many today. Just enough to bore you all to tears. Actually, this sort of thing, you either like it or you don't. You either kind of appreciate it or you don't. You know, people that have no use for this kind of stuff have tuned out long ago. Those of you who are still around, you enjoy these old muzzle loaders. All right. Okay, the last barrel. Now I'm just one person. You imagine, of course, whole regiment, company, whatever, advancing, and then there may be 100 men or more with this rifle shooting buck and ball. Whew. The air would be filled with lead, wouldn't it? And white smoke. All right, see if I can hit. All right. Now I just have to go down and take a look. Okay. let's run down there. I'm just very curious, where the hits are, and if it's in keeping with what I discovered this morning on cardboard. And of course, it's always random, like one of those shots, none of the buckshot might have hit anything where we can find it. Another one, all of them might have hit, or none of them might have hit, I don't know. I just didn't want to shoot the barrels until we had the camera rolling. All right, I got a little low on that. Well, look at the first one over here. Oh, well, look at there. We got buckshot. Okay, now again, that's with loading the buckshot out front. Wow, nice group. Although, we don't know. Oh, look, a bad shot. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so with the buckshot out front, supposedly it stays together better, but you don't get quite the accuracy with the ball, is what I had read. And this one, that could be me, but there it hit way over there and almost missed it. And this one, who knows where it went? Who knows? Let's see, and I don't see, well, there's a, no. Oh, no, wait a minute. Okay, maybe it has a, you know what, on the cardboard, it had a tendency to go right. Maybe that wasn't me, because I bet this is the one I was shooting at, this barrel. It's over here, and then here's one right in here. And that might have been the one I was aiming here. Yeah. Who knows? Kind of random. It's not rifled. Is that a piece of pellet now? Yeah, maybe. I'm looking for pellet hits. There's one. Here's a couple of pellet hits on this barrel. And of course, the big hole in the bottom. Yeah, pellet hit, pellet hit, pellet hit. And then there's one right there. Pellet hit. I knew I should put plywood up here. Okay, so there you go. Oh, I see what happened on this one too. Look, I did hit this barrel. Just barely. So it tends to go to the right, apparently. The ball does when I put the buckshot on front. So that's pretty good on that first shot there. We got, although again, some of the pellets hit might have been from that shot on that barrel. But that's what you get, and that's the thing. If you have like 4 men lined up here, some of the pellets might have come over this cardboard and hit somebody back here, or hit the guy over here. Some of the pellets from that shot might have hit someone right here advancing, and same over here. You just don't know. Mainly, you're just throwing lead downrange, and as much as you can in the vicinity, and that's what you get. So we won't just like shoot up the barrels. I just wanted to get an idea. Again, about 50 yards, and I guess we can account for all the 69 caliber holes except one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, all of them. And 3 of them were, to the right, and then that one was almost the same. Okay. All right, nothing too dramatic, but that's what buck and ball is about. I should have brought down the rifle and an example to wrap up the video, I guess, but it's not necessary. Beautiful, beautiful rifle. I tell you what, I didn't make it, but just it's so neat having something that old that you can still shoot and experiment with, and know what it was like, what it feels like, and how they operate, and experiment with things like this. Many of you, can definitely appreciate that. I know just from comments and messages, you just love these old guns and the history, how they work, and the operation of them. Just fascinating, to me, and especially if it's something that was used, back in that time period. So buck and ball. If you didn't know, hopefully you know now why it was called buck and ball. You know that it's kind of a crapshoot, nothing all that accurate. If I just shoot a ball and leave the buck out, I could, I mean, it's accurate enough to drill the middle of each one of these barrels, I think. I know where to hold, especially at 50 or 60 yards. Now we get out to 100, it gets a little more iffy, definitely, I think. But at these kinds of ranges, if you don't put the buck in there, man, you can plop things pretty well with a smoothbore. It's amazing. It really is. And that's a big ball, 69 caliber. So anyway, your education for today. on buck and ball. Glad you came out and enjoyed it with us, spent some time with us. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. Really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com. And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.